So to clean up your data from the TRI releases in Excel on a Mac, uh, the first step in the tutorial was to get the metadata out. Here's the metadata, it's that top row. So I'm just gonna imagine that I put it somewhere different, but mostly we wanna get rid of it because we don't need it at the top row. You will need it to cite it in your paper, so put it somewhere useful. The second step is to tidy up these headers. Facility, latitude, and longitude are very clear, but then this total on-site, total on and off-site disposal or other resources, that's too many rows. So I'm just going to call this tote on-site, and this one is tote on off. This is just the data that I downloaded. You might have different information. Just based on how you set up that query. So now I'm going to highlight rows 2 through 4, which here I see are just extra text and not actually meaningful, and delete those. So now I can see that starting with this row number, I've got sequential numbers. So the tutorial mentions this data will sometimes export multiple tables at once. So it's useful to scroll down to the very bottom and see if there's an additional table appended to the data you downloaded. So here there's not an additional table. You'd know that if there was just like a whole other set of numbers here. But we do want to get rid of total and then all these extra numbers at the bottom. So I highlighted those and then I'll delete them. So now I just have sequential numbers, facilities, latitude, longitude, and then values for toxic release. So the next step was to find locations that don't have a latitude or a longitude. So the way that I go about doing that is I'll highlight all of the columns that are important. So I just clicked and dragged. And then, and this is annoying because sometimes it doesn't show up on your main screen in Excel. It's sometimes you need to make Excel a little bit wider. There we go. I like this button called Sort and Filter, and I prefer to use Filter. Oh, but I just unselected things. So again, click, select, Sort and Filter. Filter. Now I can sort by any of these columns. So here I'm just going to visually check and see if there are any zeros. I see that there are blanks and there are dots. Those are important to see. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort ascending and then sort descending and see where that dot is going to show up. So those dots showed up when I did descending. A quick scan to the very bottom of the list will show me if there's anything else weird at the bottom. Okay, so the bottom number is the highest number, the lowest number, the top number is the highest number, or the random dots. So in this case, there's only one, so I can just highlight that row and delete it. So if you had more values, so for example, if there were like 3 of these, insert, or like a couple of them, Control C, Control V. There were a couple of them, or you had ones that like listed 0. Sorting by latitude would get you the zeros at the top, so I could delete those. And then sort the other way and it would bring the dot to the top. I find it's really useful that if I'm trying to delete content that doesn't match the rest of the content, to sort both ways, because usually the messy stuff that you want to delete shows up at the top or at the bottom of the list.